Brogan Private Dick, Systematic Dismantlement. Boston, November 1988. The uneasy alliance between Vinny, the Weasel, Capello, and Slick Eddie Malone, the old-school mob and the flashy New Velvet Vipers, was already cracking under pressure. Brogan and Major John Rush decided it was time to help it fall apart completely. They didn't rush in with guns blazing. That wasn't their style. Instead, they worked like they always had, quietly, methodically, and from the shadows, the same way they had operated in Vietnam. Phase 1. Divide and Conquer. Rush started with the supply lines. Using old military contacts and a few favors owed from his time in logistics, he fed selective intelligence to the Coast Guard and state police. Within 10 days, 2 Nova Scotia fishing boats carrying Chinese heroin were intercepted outside Gloucester. The product was pure and uncut, exactly the kind of high-quality shipment that had been keeping both Vinny and Eddie happy. The loss hurt. Vinny blamed Eddie's Vipers for sloppy security on the docks. Eddie blamed Vinny's crew for leaking the routes. Their first major argument happened in the back room of the Velvet Lounge. Brogan made sure a recording of that argument found its way to a trusted detective in the state police narcotics unit. Phase 2. The Money Trail. Brogan focused on the money. He spent nights tailing mid-level guys from both crews as they moved cash through construction sites and the combat zone. With Dave slipping through vents and Marmalade causing convenient distractions in dumpsters, Brogan gathered enough photos and ledgers to show exactly how the profits from the new drug pipeline were being split. Then he did what he did best. He leaked just enough information to make both sides paranoid. An anonymous source told Vinny that Eddie was skimming extra off the top to fund his own expansion. Another tip reached Eddie that Vinny was planning to cut him out and go back to the old Patriarcha family for protection. The distrust grew fast. Phase 3. The Public Humiliation. The final blow came at Fenway Park during a night game. Brogan and Rush had learned that both crews were using the park for major cash drops and bookmaking during big games. They arranged for a very public disruption. During the 7th-inning stretch, the stadium's giant scoreboard suddenly flashed a simple message for 10 seconds. Vinny and Eddie's excellent adventure, special thanks to the Velvet Vipers and Southie crew. Below it appeared several very clear photos. Vinny and Eddie shaking hands, crates being unloaded from Nova Scotia boats, and stacks of cash changing hands in the men's room. The crowd laughed, thinking it was a joke. The two crews did not. By the time security figured out what had happened, the damage was done. The photos were already circulating among fans with cameras. The next morning, the Globe ran a small but damaging piece titled "Mob and Bikers Team Up. Sources Say Yes." The breakup. 2 nights later, Brogan and Rush sat in the back booth at Cheater's Tavern. Tommy slid them fresh drinks. Sue was on stage. The place was lively but calm. Rush spoke first. "Their alliance is finished. Vinny's crew took heavy losses on the last shipment. Eddie's Vipers are blaming him for the Fenway embarrassment. They're already fighting over territory again." Brogan took a pull of his scotch. "Good. Let them tear each other apart. We just gave them the rope." Dave chattered proudly from the table, still wearing his tiny fedora from the Fenway job. Marmalade lounged on the next chair, looking smug as ever. Brogan raised his glass. "To old tactics," he said. "Divide, disrupt, make them do the dirty work themselves." Rush clinked his water glass against Brogan's scotch. "Same as always." Outside, the rain fell on Boston. Inside Cheaters, 2 old soldiers from Vietnam sat with their unlikely crew, a scruffy hamster and a wandering orange cat, and watched as another alliance of bad men began to collapse under its own weight. Vinny and Eddie's strike back had failed. Brogan and Rush's systematic dismantlement had succeeded. The detective who doesn't stop, and the quiet man who still walked point, had done what they did best. They made the rot turn on itself.